let's just see how much shit she's into on this now, shall we?
Today, Denims and Casey Tron, Frogan, the Reddit mods, they're all in hot water. And we're going to talk about it today on The Legal Mind. So we teach you to be your own judge. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney. And this is months in to the legal saga of Ethan Klein suing the three of them for copyright infringement. And it only gets worse, especially when we examine not just the court filings, but also the social media posts. And of course, this is a fast version. So if you like the quick and dirty version of latest in legal news, like the video and leave a comment below. But if you like the live, where we're going to go through all...
Yeah, nuts. Yeah, I've noticed that Andrew's had a little bit of a difficulty with his microphone the last couple of Fast Facts that we've watched. He's had a little hiccup issue with the mic. I don't know if it's his interface or he needs to look at getting a new mic, but yeah, it's happened a couple times.
All of Denim's filing, we're gonna go through everything. You can go over to the live version and check that out now. So of course, I've got a PP for you. I've got a PowerPoint. So let's check this out. So of course, we know the characters here. We know Casey.
Oh, hang on. Hey, chat. Flashbang. No, Gore, it's not. No, mine is the result of the VC having a heart attack, not my microphone or the interface itself. Mars, you know I have to torment you sometimes.
Tron, we know Denims, we know Frogan. These are all Hassan's orbiters. These are all those that are wrapped up in this lawsuit with Ethan Klein over the Hassan Piker content nuke. So let's go and see what's happened now. So what has happened now is we initially had a filing by Ethan Klein. He filed the complaint. So Ethan Klein started it. And now we're getting a lot of the defense filings from Denims, from Casey Tron, Frogan, and the Reddit mods. So there's a number of filings that were gone through here today. And I'm not going to bore you with the details of which one's which and whatnot. That's more of a live version aspect. But what I'm going to say is the most significant news is that the Reddit mods responded with hundreds of pages of legal filings in their defense. However, most of those pages are irrelevant exhibits. So we're going to go over the high points, some of the high arguments, and the biggest defense arguments they're bringing up now, and how those are absolutely ridiculous.
One thing we haven't watched all of Andrew's Fast Facts regarding this lawsuit. One thing I'm kind of wondering about, how much are the lawyers that these Reddit snark mods have had to retain for their defense? You know, we know about Denims, Frogan, and Casey Tron. We know that they've got their GoFundMe's up, which are not going to be fulfilled. That they've only got like what 30 or 40,000, like 30 or maybe $50,000 when they're asking for 100 or 200,000. So we know that's not going to get fulfilled by the time things come around. What about the snark Reddit moderators that have to show up in court too? How are they paying for their legal fees? Because you have to imagine the mods of a subreddit probably don't got a lot of fucking money. If you're but like I'm not throwing shade at subreddit mods, but it's not like they're getting paid to be the moderators of the Snark subreddit. This money, and for damn sure, you don't have any of these three ponying up for their legal funds. What? How the hell are they going to be paying for their legal fees? Like, what the fuck? It's, you know, yes, very, I would assume so, is that, yeah. That's one thing, he may have brought it up in a previous Fast Fact. Vespasian, I wouldn't assume that. I would not assume that Reddit is helping the Snark mods subreddit. They're the Snark set subreddit mods. I don't see
that
them.
Reddit was paying for their lawyers themselves because Hassan was involved.
I want evidence to support that. I would love for evidence to support that because if Reddit is paying for their lawyers, I have to wonder if that does he mention this bid? Okay, if he mentions that in this bid, cool. Okay, then we'll let it play through.
We also do have a trial date tentatively set for December of 2025. So I'm very much looking forward to trials. I love trials. Trials are great. Trials are amazing. So I'm very, very much looking forward to that. Now, do understand that tentatively means it can be changed. And we often see in the legal system, as with many other cases, such
That's
as the
my
case of
fault,
Courtney
Zed,
Clay,
yes.
which have been covering for several years and wanting to cover so hard, it's been pushed 2 years down the line. So this could be pushed into 2026 and on and on and on. But just understand, at least we have the first date that gives us something to look forward to. Now, what happened here? So in this one filing that I'm going to go through first, this is the subpoenas in regarding to the subpoenas to Reddit, Discord. This is the mods fighting back. This is the mods trying to hide from the wrath of Ethan Klein. They do not want Ethan Klein to be able to get their information, to discover them, to be able to out them, to be able to out their messages. So understand at this point, and this is the critical thing, a lot of people are going to miss this. They are trying to make their whole case in this argument before we've even had what's called discovery, before we even have any facts come out.
Really?
They're just trying to gush 700 pages to prevent us from looking at the facts. Think about that for a second. Pause and think about that. All of this is a thing that is being done to stop us from getting the facts. And
okay, I'm hoping he explains how, because just because they've gushed out, just because they've jizzed out 700 pages of documents in advance wouldn't stop discovery. It's not like this would prevent discovery. Like the you know, Ethan's lawyers could like go through this and go, okay, bullshit. Yeah, this is all bullshit. Now we want the real stuff. And then they file a motion for discovery for the real stuff. It's not gonna it's not like this will prevent Ethan's lawyers from filing a motion of discovery. Oh yeah, and that's the next point, is depending on what they pony up, there may be a kernel or two in the bullshit where they go, oh, we should start looking at this. And then they file a motion for discovery on X, Y, or Z that this gush of 700 pages tipped them off might be in existence. So, honestly, throwing 700 pages of documentation at them sounds fucking stupid. Because it's only going to let them go through everything and go, okay, now what about this? And, or maybe put them onto a track that the Reddit mods don't want them to go. They may have just fucked themselves royally by doing this.
And when somebody fights too much, it's like that old saying, the lady doth protest too much. When they fight back too much, you know what they're doing. When they have 700 pages behind it, that means there's really something to hide. And we're going to get into that today. So here's what the arguments that they brought up in this motion. I'm going to call it a motion to hide. And I took this little clip from a portion of it. There's a portion of a filing called the Statement of Facts, but I like to rebrand it as a Statement of Lies. I think that's much better.
Why?
So what they tried to lay out here is kind of a picture of Ethan Klein as kind of this evil, like an evil Admiral
For fuck's
Akbar,
sake.
right? In a legal sense, where he laid this legal trap, and that's totally not permissible. And because of that, and because Ethan Klein is an evil, bad man, therefore, we shouldn't allow the facts to come out ever and see whether anything is real or not. And to
Wait, hold up. Did they seriously file a statement saying we walked right into Ethan's trap? We practically fucking danced into his trap, got caught, and that's not fair? Are they really pulling this kindergarten shit? We fell right into the trap Ethan laid out because we did something illegal, and that's not fair? It's fucking kidding me with this kindergarten shit. What the fuck? If it wasn't so sad, it would be laughable. That fucking I'll laugh anyway. so fucking stupid. All these people are so fucking stupid. And Paradox Resolve, thank you for the subbie.
To be honest with you, a lot of this, when I read through it, I just purely laughed. And by the way, I'll be going through and laughing at this on the live version. So if you want to catch that, it's going to be much longer. Go to the live version. But stuff like, for example, here where they say the H3 Snark subreddit, a safe and I can't, a safe and anonymous space for criticism H3.
Yeah, so safe that they say, let us do everything possible to try and ruin Ethan, including sending skulls as threats to his home and calling a false CPS report on him and his children. Yes, a safe space for criticism. Yeah, criticism, not like the planning of illegal activities. Mm-hmm.
Whenever any place calls itself a safe space, I know exactly what is going on there. And then they're laying out this trap argument. Now, I want to be a little bit empathetic on this because I have had people reach out to me, very reasonable people, and say, Andrew, this is the thing that bothers me legally, this idea of a trap. And I think the lawyers for the mods know that. So they're hyper-focusing on this word trap. But the word trap is in and of itself a trap. It's a trap, right? The trap is a trap, right? It's a trap.
It's a trap. I don't have it on the subboard. Damn it! I need to put Akbar on the soundboard. It's a trap.
Within a trap within a trap. A trapception. The point is, from a legal standpoint, it does not matter what your intent is when you file a copyright registration. When you register a copyright, when you file a copyright, it doesn't matter if, as they say here, Ethan laid a trap. Okay, let's say that's true. Let's presume that's true. Let's say he was a Machiavellian evil genius who laid this evil, dastardly trap. Does that change how the law functions? It actually doesn't. It doesn't change the law at all. And
more so. And more so, of course, Andrew is absolutely correct. This, Ethan laid a trap, but they're only calling it a trap because they literally danced right into it happily and realized too late it was a trap. And yes, Ethan called it a trap, but it don't fucking matter because it was only a trap if people like Denims, like Caseytron, like Frogan, did exactly what he knew they were going to do, which is illegal. What Denims, Frogan, and Caseytron did. It's only a trap because he knew his adversaries well enough that he knew that when he did his content nuke, he knew that that there would be people within Hassan's orbit, not Hassan himself. Bearing in mind, one key thing to keep in mind here, Ethan did not lay this trap for Hassan. He did not. He actually, as I understand it, he kind of invited Hassan to watch it on stream, and he knew he would commentate on it and knew that he would basically be transformative with it and it would be fair use. So he never designed this to trap Hassan. He designed it to trap all of his orbiters because he knew they were going to do exactly what they did. The problem with all of their logic of this is not no fair, it's a trap, is he knew that they would commit an illegal activity, at least civilly illegal, because copyright infringement is a civil illegality, not criminal. But he knew that his orbiters were so fucking brain rotted in their dogmatic worship of their dear leader that they would do something like this. Because it wasn't just those three women that watched his content nuke on stream. It was not just that. There were many people who watched his content nuke on, streamers. There were many streamers who watched his content nuke on stream. Quite a few. There are like 5 that we know of. Hassan, Asmongold, Caseytron, Denims, and Frogan. So there's 5 that we know of. But he knew that there would be people in Hassan's orbit that worship him that would do so with the specific intent of trying to basically take money from him, i.e. with the Snark subreddit saying, with advertising on the Snark subreddit saying, go watch it on Caseytron stream, go watch it on Frogan stream, go watch it on Denim stream, because you can watch it there, not give Ethan any views, and we're doing this deliberately to try and take money away from him, thus violating copyright law, which is why he filed it with the Library of Congress prior to launching, because he knew they would do something like that. Is it a trap? Sure. Because he knew it was going to happen, so he laid the trap. Is it illegal? Nope. Everything perfectly legal. It's just he was smarter than them. He knew what they were going to do, and he basically said, I know what they're going to do, so I'm going to set this up because they're going to do exactly what I know they're going to do, and boom. And so, and they did exactly what he knew they were going to do, and he closed the trap show. I don't think they may be, Garrett. He Andrew hasn't gotten that far into it yet. I don't know if they are trying to claim entrapment, which won't work. As someone has already mentioned, and I've mentioned this before, there is no entrapment with civil cases. Entrapment does not exist in civil lawsuits like this. Entrapment only works in criminal proceedings, not civil. So if they try to claim entrapment, well, then their lawyers are fucking stupid. If their lawyers actually try to claim entrapment, then I would question how the fuck they passed the bar exam if they do that. But they're basically what it sounds like they're trying to do is they're trying to basically, I don't know, maybe they're trying to front load in the court saying that we are victims here, and they're trying to front load their arguments by the time they reach the court and try and present themselves as sympathetic defendants. We're just a bunch of poor people that got caught by the mean streamer's trap or something like that. I know. So what their reasoning is, I don't know, but that's the best guess is what they're attempting to do.
That is a really hard thing to accept, but what I have to explain, and I often explain to people, is there are very large corporations which do bad things. They lay traps all the time. One I'm covering right now is Pokemon. Pokemon Company International, Kabushiki Gacha Pokemon, they lay patent traps.
Yes, Paradox.
They set these.
Yes, Paradox. Yeah, I broad stroked it by saying by referring to criminal illegality. But yes, you're correct. Entrapment itself only pertains to law enforcement. It does not pertain to anyone outside of law enforcement, and especially does not pertain to any civil cases. So yes, I broad stroked it by saying criminal cases, but yes, it is specifically law enforcement.
Pokemon Company International, Kabushiki Gacha Pokemon, they lay patent traps. They set these overly broad patents which cover everything, right? And
Yep.
That's a trap. And they do that with intent, silently in the night, hoping nobody catches them in order to lock down an entire genre of video games. So comport that over, translate that over to here. Is that necessarily illegal? No, you can technically do that, right? You have what's called a prima facie case. Might that make you an evil person? Well, that's a subjective argument. That's a moral argument. That's not a legal argument. It is not a legal argument to say the person across from me is a bad man. You can't win that way. Even if they are a bad man, they have to have broken the law. They have to have done something wrong. They have to have broken a rule of procedure, etc. That
in a nutshell, I'll nutshell this for everybody. When it comes to these cases like this, it's about facts, and facts don't give a fuck about feelings. This is why so many civil cases that we see, where we see where we have looked at civil case, heard or looked at civil cases before, and we go, how the hell could the court, rule or the question is how the hell could the court rule in favor of X instead of Y? And it's because the facts bore out in favor of X versus Y. And it doesn't matter if X is an absolute piece of shit and Y is a sweetheart. Facts, and in this case, the court, don't give a fuck about feelings. It's all about factually, i.e., evidence. Did this thing happen the way one side says it happened? Do the facts bear out in that respect? So that's that's where it all boils down to. Could someone make the argument that Ethan is an asshole and he only did this because he's got a grudge against this group of people and he wanted to punish them because he's a bad person? Sure, you can make that argument. Does it change the facts of what occurred? No. It doesn't change the facts, and that is what matters in a court of law. There are certain facets where, primarily this would pertain to criminal cases, but there are certain facets where intent is there, but even intent is still primarily factual in nature and not emotional in nature. Did this person intend to do X, Y, or Z act? And that is still factual in nature. So again, it's not so much about the feelings. Facts and thus evidence does not give a fuck about your feelings. It is all about what has actually occurred.
Argument is simply not sufficient. And then they go on to say, and I want to get into the fair use elements here.
That's Sebastian, that's a whole separate thing.
I just had to use emojis because I was laughing throughout all this. As soon as I saw Denham's use was fair use, I just started laughing. It was the pure reaction. So the first argument they make is her use is transformative and does not supersede the original. Well, that's where the empty chair comes in. That's where she's got to make the argument that what she did was so important and so innovative that it just totally changed it and made it something different, and it overwhelms the fact that she with intent said, please everybody watch this instead of his video as a replacement. So it's got to be so different that it's okay to replace the thing, because many times when people
and he may go into this a little bit further with React content. This is why, I've had comments in my videos that say, why the hell are you pausing the video so fucking much? Because I'm being transformative. That is what I, as a React content creator, do. I watch a video like this one, and I am offering up my own insights and in my own opinions to offer a transformative element to the video. I'm not just sitting here going, Hey, I'm not sitting here dead silent. And if I do, if it's like there have been some videos that we've watched where I don't have anything to say because it's just either it's extremely short or it's an extremely emotional thing, and I wish to offer respect to the person that put out the content, and so I might be quiet because I'm giving them the proper respect that they deserve for the content. And I always link the video that I watch in chat afterwards, so you guys can go and give that video a watch and give that video a view as well. I have never once said, don't go watch this person's video, watch my thing instead. And the reason why I pause so much that sometimes people in chat, if people in comments of my YouTube videos like to say is like, why the hell are you pausing so much? Granted, I don't get too many of those. I've had a few people that have actually said, I'm never watching you again because you pause so fucking much. It's like, okay, not an airport. You don't need to announce your departure. But I do it because A, I have something to say. That's why I do React content. I do React content in the first place because I have something to say about the content in question. B, I'm trying to be transformative. I'm trying to add my own opinion, my own insights, expounding further on what is being said in the video. And, basically adding on to the video, adding context, adding history, things like that to the video. So therefore, I'm being transformative in nature. And that is the key thing with React content. That is where the fair use comes into play. Is fair use means you are being transformative in a way that you are going beyond the scope of the original material, and you're not just going, So Denham's and Caseytron and Frogan either just sat there like, silicone tits on like a pair of silicone tits on on a crack horse chest, or departed for 15, 20 X amount of minutes and left the chair. Did the Hassan thing and did fucking chair straight. That's not transformative. And that's where they primarily fucked up. And that's in addition to them front-loading their stream when that happened by saying, come to my stream to watch it so you don't give Ethan money, don't give Ethan the views, and thus he doesn't get the money. So it's a combo platter of those two.
People are doing things on the internet. For example, parody. We'll even talk about Pokemon here because I love Pokemon here. If you're making Pokemon memes, you're making Pokemon, mods, whatever else, it's not a replacement for the thing. But the error that Denims made was she went out there and explicitly said, what I am doing is here to replace you watching Ethan's video. And because of that,
that's what I said.
That's where the real error comes in for this transformative element. Next, this is the most shocking thing to me, is Denims came out, the attorney said, essentially, remember, TEI is Ethan Klein. So let's read this as Ethan Klein.
Okay.
Ethan Klein's highly factual works support greater dissemination. So literally here, people, we have Denims lawyers saying Ethan Klein is right and factual.
Okay, hold up. Andrew may exposit further on this, but that's not how I'm reading this. I'm not reading this as that Ethan Klein was right in the context of this lawsuit. What I'm reading this is that Ethan Klein's videos are highly factual in nature. That the video he puts out are factual, highly factual. So not the lawsuit that he has brought to bear, but the videos that he has put out that Denims, Casey Tron, Frogan watched on stream. That's how I'm reading this. Work support greater dissemination. So I don't know if Andrew's going to go that route, but the way he just reacted doesn't sound like it. But that's how I'm reading this. This is referencing his YouTube videos that he's put out, not the lawsuit that has been brought to bear.
What? I mean, I read this and I blinked. I'm like, wow, that's one way to put it. And I know what they're trying to do legally, but this puts Denims in a really awkward position because now if she says anything online other than everything that Ethan Klein said is true and factual, it's not opinion, everything that Ethan Klein said is fact, Denims, because if you go online now, Denims, and say that anything that Ethan Klein says is his opinion, well, that hurts your legal argument, darling. And that's not good for you. Because your lawyers just argued that he is indeed making factual arguments. Oopsie. Oops.
Wait. Was one of their arguments... Was Denim trying to say that Ethan's video was full of lies? I think I'm missing context here. Like, what was Denim's like going out there online trying to say that the content Nuke Ethan put out was just laden full of lies or something? Okay. I still don't get. Okay, so yeah, like I know, but I'm trying to figure how is this getting fitted into a defense? Like, why would the lawyers even put this in? This is not. No, Zeb, I haven't forgot. I'm more stuck on why the lawyers would put this in because the issue at hand was not whether or not the content was factual or not. That's not the issue at hand. The issue at hand was regardless if the content was factual or not, Denim's, Casey Tron, and Frogan did not facilitate transformative content on their end. The determination of factuality in regards to his work is immaterial in this point. It doesn't matter if it's factual or 100% false. Like 100% fact, 100% false. That doesn't matter in the context of this case. It's completely immaterial. The facts of the matter is they basically threw it up on screen and were not transformative in any way, shape, or form. And did it with the express purpose of stealing views and thus money from Ethan. This is... I don't even know why the hell they put this in. It holds no bearing to the charge in question. It holds no bearing on the fucking case whatsoever with the charge of copyright infringement. So I have no idea why the lawyer even put this in. Now, is their lawyer an idiot? Possibly. Lawyers are human beings, so lawyers can be idiots. It's entirely possible that the lawyer Denims has procured is not exactly top of the class. So could this just be like a lawyer throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks? Sure. Might be. Might end up hurting him in the end, though.
See? Also, Denims did not negatively impact the market. She increased it. Now, this is the most like, and I put the stonks over here because this is the most like, meme coin sort of logic out there that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, this is wrong on every conceivable level. She didn't increase the market. She literally literally was facilitating the exact opposite. She was literally putting it out there. Her, Casey, Tron, and Frogan were literally putting it out there. Come watch it on my stream so you don't give him views. So you were actively decreasing the market. You were saying, don't watch it yourselves. It wasn't like, okay, if the three of them had said something like, I'm going to be doing a live react to this content nuke. If you want to, please feel free to watch along with me. Here's the link. You can watch along with me. Yank that bitch. Anyway, if they had done something like, okay, we're going to be reacting to I'm going to be reacting to this content nuke. If you want to follow along on your own device at the same time, please feel free to do so. But no, they actually did the exact opposite and said, come watch it on my stream specifically to take views away from Ethan. They did that specifically. So they didn't increase the market. They deliberately decreased it. So you're wrong. You're wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. They're saying, hang on. Fuck, come on. Scroll up, Twitch chat. Jesus. Okay, they're saying the people who watch Denim stream would never watch it in the first place, which admits theft. Yeah, I don't know if they're saying that. It's what I'm getting from the statement is did not use it negatively, use it to negatively impact the market and increase it. It sounds like the lawyer is trying to make the argument of that Denims, because this is Denim's lawyer, that by Denim's watching on stream, she brought more notice to it, and therefore that would encourage more people to go watch the original, which is exactly the opposite of what Denims did, because they actually said, "Come watch it on my stream," instead of his, and don't give him the money. But the lawyer is trying to say, well, because my client watched on screen, it added an extra voice promoting it. The lawyer is trying to pretend like Denims was promoting his content nuke when she was doing the exact opposite.
It's sort of like Denims increased the market because everyone has enjoyed watching, along with my channel, every other channel, and roasting Denims, and how absolutely brain dead her take is on the law, and how brain dead her position here is, and how screwed she is legally. She's increased the market by people roasting her, by people coming out there and making fun of her. So it's not something she intended to do. It's an unintentional secondary effect. It's very hilarious. And the last one here is stripping the original elements. TEI's thin copyrights deserve little protection. That's what I call the Trojan ultra thin argument. That's a Trojan ultra thin argument. And that one I throw out there because, look, they're trying to say that nothing that TEI does is original, that it's not something that is like, it's not something that is creative, it's not something that is on its own. And that's not true at all. And that's fundamental copyright analysis.
the fact is they're wrong because if it was unoriginal, he wouldn't have been able to copyright it. That's the whole purpose of copyright. A copyright is you are creating something, you are creating an original something, and therefore you are placing copyright patent. You're placing a copyright on it so people cannot steal your idea. That is what copyright is. So if his content nuke was not original in nature, he wouldn't have been able to copyright it in the first place.
Failure. That's a huge failure. What Ethan Klein put together is quintessentially unique because even taking clips of things and rearranging them has been held in court to be very, very much original, creative, etc., and deserving of copyright. If you were to compile a bunch of clips and take those together and mash them up in a unique way, you can get a copyright for that. That's absolutely permissible. So trying to say, well, because it's clips and clips and clips, it deserves no copyright protection, that doesn't work. And also think about the precedent, i.e. the effect of this. So let's play this out.
Okay?
If reacting to clips is like that's not protected at all, then every single clip reaction channel on the internet, right? Every single channel that uses clips everywhere, people can just take the whole thing and repost it. Does that sound right? Does that sound like that's a thing that people are going to allow? Just everybody fully copy pasting their channels. You're going to have a bunch of bots out there just spamming out new channels, and they're not going to be able to stop them because, hey, that's fair use, right? No, that's not how it works. And it just seems to me like this is a very, very thin argument. And if you look at the substance of these arguments, which I believe is going to be the substance of the arguments for Frogan and Caseytron, these are laughable arguments. These are arguments that are so funny that I mean, literally it hurts. I'm trying not to laugh right now. I already did earlier, but this is absolutely hilarious. So going from there, there are other filings that have other things that were very revealing beyond these fair use arguments. One was this argument they're bringing up regarding the human skulls that were sent to Ethan and Hilla. And saying, well, Ethan and Hilla sent the skulls themselves. The skulls were sent by them. It's all a conspiracy. It's all involving some humble fruit farmers, right? And
you
Taylor
kidding
Lorenz,
me?
of course, because she shows up and everything, right? Taylor Lorenz.
Are you kidding me? What is this bullshit? Evidence from the sports suggests the skull packages were a hoax, likely sent by Ethan and Ilya themselves. Images shared publicly, including those by tail journalist. Yeah, there's a journalist with a giant fucking quotations around that. Taylor Lorenz showing the skulls arriving in a box clearly branded from skullsunlimited.com. Ethan's story that believed the box to contain computer parts and that the FBI investigated but advised him to keep the skulls as contradictory and cast further doubts on the legitimacy of his claims. Furthermore, his producer claimed to contact the video to return the items, deepening suspicions that this was a stage event designed as a media hopes to fuel a lawsuit. Wow! What the Okay. Putting all this aside, why include this? Why include this whatsoever? This has nothing to do with the case. None of this has absolutely zero to do with the case. Is it possibly showing that Ethan, had basically a hard-on to stick it to Hassan's orbiters, like those three? Sure. Does it address the facts surrounding the situation, i.e. they committed copyright infringement? No! It has nothing to do with it whatsoever. This has absolutely fuck all to do with the case in question. Nothing.
And the Kiwis, they did it, right? How does that have anything to do with copyright law? What does that have to do with?
Thank you, Andrew. Bingo! Ding, 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 ding! This is what I just fucking said. Thank you, Andrew.
With copyright law? What does a human skull have to do with copyright? That has nothing to do with anything. And it has nothing to do with whether or not the court should allow for people to look at the messages of people on Reddit, right? This is really what this is about, people. This is just whether or not Reddit as a platform will have to turn over the messages, turn over things. And the thing is, the reality is Reddit itself is scared. It's not just the mods. The rabbit hole is going to go way, way deeper on this. Just wait. Next slide here. You see Reddit itself. Reddit itself offered. So many, and let me read this quote here. Many of my fellow moderators have endured a deep psychological impact and fear of retaliation to the point that Reddit admins offered us free subscriptions to privacy software that would help remove our PII. PII is personal identifiable information. And by the way, guys on this channel, remember that term. PII is some of the most, that is the gold of the modern era. Every company is trying to farm your PII. If they're trying to give you something for free, it's because they're farming you.
Sponsored by or delete me. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, just not probably going to be doing that. But it feels like a lead up into that kind of advertisement, doesn't it?
like an NPC. They're just farming you for that.
Oh, okay. Hang on. To that point, Garrett, Garrett, to your point, and Captain Rudy, people love throwing around, the concept of they should file a defamation lawsuit. The problem is defamation lawsuits are very, very difficult to bring to bear. The preponderance of evidence and the justifiable reasoning behind bringing a defamation lawsuit is substantial enough that it doesn't happen very often. So one, you would need to basically show that the defamation affected you monetarily or in some substantial way that impacts the way you live, be it financially through your work or that resulting in substantial amount of harassment. That's where defamation cases come into play. Could Ethan potentially bring a defamation case? Yes, he could. Theoretically he could, especially now. But the lengths that he would need to go through to bring that to court and be able to win is a lot more difficult to do than the copyright infringement cases that he's doing. And that's why he probably hasn't even looked at, Tornado, we are talking legally. Defamation lawsuit is a legality. It's just defamation lawsuits are very difficult to prove in court. Whereas his copyright suit, far easier. His copyright suit is basically a slam dunk that he's going to win. So instead of going through a defamation case, which would be very difficult to bring to court, be very difficult to prove in court, he's going with the copyright instead, because this way, the end result is he's still getting to hurt them. He's still hitting these three that have been coming after him for years. He still gets to hit them where they hurt, and that's in the bank account. And he will have a much, much easier time with a copyright case versus a defamation case. So that's probably why he has not even thought of, why he's not brought the defamation case against any of them, because it's incredibly difficult. It takes a lot of time, which is money for your lawyers, to actually work that through the system. The copyright case, it's a slam fucking dunk. He's going to win and he's going to take their money. And that's going to hurt them.
It's because they're farming you like an NPC. They're just farming you for that sweet, sweet PII. That's really at the undercurrent of a lot of what's going on. But here we go. Reddit here says, hey, we're going to help you scrub that information from the internet in case we are doxxed and harassed. So Reddit is actually engaging in potential, and once again, I'm going to say allegedly, according to the statement, once again, this is their own filing, but they literally told on themselves and said Reddit admins are helping them scrub evidence So this can now be escalated by Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein can look at his lawyers, which I'm sure are going to get this clip. I'm very sure they're going to look at this quote over here and say, wait a second, Reddit admin.
Victor, I know that was the auto mod. That was the auto mod that held your comment, not any of my mods. It was Twitch's auto mod that held that. Don't worry about it.
Admins are scrubbing evidence? Okay, now we're going to go deeper into Reddit and see what's going on here. What is going on with the protection of these people? How deep does this go? Now we may get cell phone logs. Now we may get text messages. Now we may get corporate emails because Reddit.
And what if somebody with Reddit was potentially in with the Snark subreddit to try and aid them in any of this? Not simply just this. Like, this might open the door for Ethan's lawyers to really start digging into Reddit's involvement with this Snark subreddit. And if Reddit itself, in some capacity, was trying to aid the Snark subreddit in facilitating this copyright infringement, then Reddit might be on the hook as a company. And yes, Driving Trucker, yes, that's what Andrew was just saying. That, like, Reddit, the claims that Reddit supposedly offered them subscriptions to privacy software to scrub their information from the internet, it is opening the door for them to examining, for Ethan's lawyers to gain documentation and evidence to see if Reddit tried to aid the Snark subreddit in destruction of evidence. They just, like, the Reddit, the company, just opened themselves up to some shit.
Admins have decided to step in, not just the mods. They themselves,
no, not class
by
action,
their
Rudy.
own
Reddit gets pulled
filings,
into this one.
have deepened this lawsuit.
It just brings
and
Reddit
this is a
into this
hilarious
lawsuit.
one, which I thought as well, which for those that were around and have been around on the internet and have been victims of this is a horrible thing. And I've been saying this for the past, as long as I've been on the internet. Swatting is horrible. But this is sort of the, like, consequences are coming around to people that have never had consequences thing. So their whole argument for not giving up their information, where their messages, etc., is the repercussions if we are unmasked are not hypothetical. As a harsh reality I know we would face if our identities were revealed, I'm certain we'd be targets of swatting, a dangerous and potentially deadly harassment tactic.
Oh. You mean a swatting similar to calling a false CPS report on Ethan and Ilya to try and traumatize or maybe even seek to have their children removed from their home? You mean swatting like that? That was likely facilitated by the Snark subreddit? You mean swatting like that, right?
And you know what? I agree. But here's the thing. Many people on Reddit have been swatting people for ages with no consequences, with nothing coming back at them. And now when they're the ones where there might be some internet repercussions, are like, oh, no, 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 no. It's all fun and games when you have no face and you're behind a little avatar. But now that you're going to be unmasked, things are going to get serious, huh? And this is going to happen all across the internet. This is why this case is so important, because we do need to unmask these people that have been engaging in these tactics consequence-free. They've been online doing these things consequence-free, and we can get them through the legal process. And this is,
and more importantly, and Andrew may bring this up, depending upon how his lawyers do it, Ethan's lawyers could set a legal precedent with this case to make it that much easier to get the identities of someone on Reddit or possibly even other social media. If this literally could be a precedent-setting case regarding social media platforms needing to give up user IDs if said user has committed an offense of some sort, be it a civil offense or a criminal offense. This could make things easier for the courts to go to these social media companies and go, give them out. give up the IDs, there's precedent for it, fork them over, which means that potentially speaking, for future cases where if someone basically where someone or a group of people attacks someone on social media and that person wants to file a lawsuit against them, then it would make it easier for that complainant's lawyer to get the identities of the harassers from the social media companies if there is a precedent set by this to make the process easier.
It's completely legal, right? This is absolutely legal. This is why this case is massive precedent, and this is why it is so important overall for the online ecosystem. And once again, this is done in a peaceful, non-violent way where we're just figuring out the truth. Hey, who's really behind that little anime waifu avatar?
Let's see. It's Twitch. It's Discord. Yes, yes. Reddit is one of the CEO of Reddit is one of the individuals that is going in front of Congress next week. Yes, he is.
Okay. So really, at the end of the day, the basic question, the question that still remains at the end of this, and this is the question for the court, is does Ethan Klein, Ten Entertainment, have the right to know who willfully and deliberately engaged in copyright infringement against Ethan Klein with the intent to cause financial harm? So that's what the court has to ask. Does Ethan Klein have the right to know? And the answer, the spoiler alert, is clearly yes, right? The court is going to answer yes. There's no other possible answer. Like, it's not, oh, we get to hide. Oh, no, there's a right to hide because we have feelings. Oh, we might be, oh, no, you don't get to hide from consequences because you might be swatted. People face criminal prosecution, civil prosecution all the time, every single day.
And something I want to point out, this is, we're dialing back a little bit. We're going back to we're going back to the oh fuck oh god, I've lost the fucking word. Defamation. Going back to the whole defamation thing is the reason why a lot of content creators will not, or why people in general might not do defamation case is this right here. Is people that want to file a defamation lawsuit have to give up their identities as well. And some people, especially in the content creation space, do not wish to give up their identities, to protect, basically dox themselves to the court in order to bring a defamation case against someone else, which is already incredibly difficult to win. So that's another reason is that's I was waiting for a point where I could bring that up, but that point may not come. But it's the identity here is, that's one reason why a lot of content creators don't file defamation suits, is if they want to retain their privacy, they can't file a defamation suit, because if they file the defamation suit, they have to give up their identity and they have to effectively dox themselves. So there's a big reason why content creators won't file defamation suits, particularly VTubers. VTubers don't file defamation suits because if we did, we'd have to give up our identity. We have to dox ourselves, essentially. And given the state right now of VTubers, where people are stalking and coming after VTubers, yeah, understandable that they would not want to give up their identity. They would not want to dox themselves to the court like that on an uncertainty.
They're dragged out there in court. You think these people are so deranged, they believe that the internet is a shield, this magical shield, a magical barrier.
Seb, filing through a law firm wouldn't help, because there would still be court records disclosing that content creator's real information. And those court records, unless they are sealed, unless you can get the court records sealed, which is not just I want to seal this. No, it doesn't work that way. Unless you can actually get I'm guessing that the law firm was probably able to have the records sealed. With whatever Mouse is involved in, I'm guessing that Mousie's lawyers were able to have the records sealed and thus protect her identity. Not everyone may be able to seal their court records. It's like it's yes, it's an option. It would be the optimal option if you needed to file, but it's not a guarantee that you're going to be able to seal the records. And if you can't seal the records, they're public, and people can actually get a hold of public court records, which could have the information on it. So, if you can get the record sealed, yes, you can protect your identity, but you can't always get you can't always get court records sealed. So it's a lot of content creators don't want to take the risk.
They believe that the internet is a shield, this magical shield, a magical barrier. And their little minds on Reddit are blown when this magical barrier disappears and all of a sudden you're exposed. Well, guess what? That's consequences. That's reality. Real people deal with that all the time. And they thought they were living in another reality or another timeline or another thing where they can just get away with whatever they want to do online without.
Shocking. People that live terminally online in subreddits and on Twitter think that they're living in another reality. I'm shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
Any sort of consequences. Well, that's not going to happen. Now, I will say, and to be very fair, because once again, I do try to be very fair, there are certain protections for certain types of protected information. So, for example, if someone was a minor or a law enforcement officer or a judge or something like that, yes, maybe there are certain things that could be protected, but they're going to have to prove that. And they're going to have to prove they are somebody that has protected characteristics of the PII or certain types of PII that might be protected. But Ethan Klein is going to get a lot. He may not get every single last detail, but he's going to get a lot. These people will definitely be exposed. Okay. We do have the trial date. That is December 14th, 2026. And once again, this can change, but this gives us a note because once again, I think that Denims, Frogan, Casey Tron, they all thought this is just some hypothetical thing. This wasn't going to happen. This will never happen. Girls, it's happening.
Oh, pre-trial conference, November 13th. Oh, I wonder if we're going to hear anything about regarding this pre-trial conference. Interesting. And it's been the trial is in Kansas City. Interesting. Why is the trial location being set for Kansas City? Do any of the three reside in Kansas City? Yeah, Giggle Figures, good luck. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a closed court. No. November 13th is pre-trial. So they're gonna do teleconference pre-trial over the phone or over Zoom on November 13th. The actual trial is a 7-day trial on December 14th, but it's located at the courthouse in Kansas City, which I'm wondering why that is the location.
Happening. You're not going to stop it. Now you can delay it. This
Is
may
Denims
go down
in Kansas?
to January,
In
February.
Kansas
It may go
City?
another year.
Or
Who
in
knows?
Missouri? Because
Right?
Kansas City, Missouri.
I got the date. I scuffed this hard. I'm not going to re-record this video.
Casey
I
tries.
scuffed this
Okay.
hard. It's actually December 14th, 2026. So ignore the part earlier in the PowerPoint where I said 2025. 2026. We still got a date. The point is we have a fixed date.
Don't say yeah. Oh, so it's going to be a year before the court date. Oh, that's unfortunate. We're going to have to wait a year for the for the trial. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. We're going to have to wait a year for it, chat. We're going to be getting edged for a year on this. Damn it, Justin. Damn it, legal system. Why must you edge me like this? Why are you edging me? I don't want to goon for a whole year.
For this. And because we have a fixed date for this, they can now look forward in their heads to,
didn't
okay,
upset me,
next
Mose.
year, 2026, this is going to be the bombshell that's going to drop. And that is going to be just something dangling over their head, which is perfect. Perfect. Okay. So let's get into another thing I want to mention, and this is to wrap up the video here at the end. Denims made some really inappropriate comments against members of the VTubing community.
Here we go.
As well
This we know
as
about.
many other members out there, streamers, etc. She was trying to pick on an individual chatter. Right. So instead of going after this individual, she took this opportunity to, of course, she was going to take shots at Asmongold. That's natural. She actually ignored Tectone. I think Tectone definitely offended by being ignored. Ignored Ethan Klein even. But she went out of her way more than she hated on Asmongold. Once again, she ignored Tectone. She ignored Ethan Klein, who's suing her in this lawsuit that I just talked about for hundreds of.
Oh yeah, did this person in her chat that she did this to was absolutely based. I gifted him a sub mid-react to this. So, you know, what was his name? Oh God, what was his name? No Wisp, I think. Or yeah, I think No Wisp. Again, if you're out there, yeah, his name was on screen. I think it was No Wisp. I think is what it was. Yeah, the No Wisp. I gifted him a sub during that react. No Wisp, if you're still out there and you watch my videos, you've got a subscription to my channel. Come on down and we will give you the round of applause that you oh so richly deserve.
Thousands of dollars. So more important than this $100,000.
Wait, she did? Okay, Heckle? Stupid question. Did she bring up my react to it? Out of curiosity. Like with her commenting on the VTuber drama, did she did she bring up where I roasted her on stream? Out of curiosity? Because if she did, I'm gonna laugh my ass off. Oh, I'm actually a little bit upset. I'm a little bit upset. My donkey didn't do anything. What's on screen right here? He may not have been here when we watched this the other day. There was a chatter in Denim's stream called the No Wisp that was roasting her. And she basically used like a streaming tool that brought up all of the Twitch channels that this person was subscribed to. And Donkey just happens to be one of the individuals that he is subscribed to. That's it. And she was basically hating on him because he watches a lot of VTubers. And so she basically she was acting like she was going to try and be able to dunk on him because he watches VTubers, and at the same time she was trying to shit on VTubers. Amusingly enough, after that react, I showed you guys a video of her beloved Hassan that she loves, waiting in line behind Dan Clancy to go after his inverted micropenis, that he was actually bidding $13,000 on the opportunity to have a one-on-one 2-hour VR chat with Mousy. So
more important than this $100,000
mods, I can't remember if you can or not. Mods, if you can, the next one of those that comes in, see if you can report them before you ban them. Okay? Any of those that come in that, any of those bots that come in, try to report them before you ban them, okay?
Lawsuit was to make fun of people. I'm not kidding about this. This is serious. Was to pick on people with 2D avatars, sometimes 3D, mostly 2D anime-ish avatars. That's her top problem. That's her top threat.
Yeah.
Her top threat, people like Pippa Pipkin, Kirsha, Riri, a lot of other people. But she actually started out by picking on Iron Mouse. And I felt like I needed to tuck this in here as an old.
Okay. Really. We watched the video. She started to mention Mousy and then cut herself off, because I actually called that out. She started to mention Mousy as being one of the VTubers that this person follows, and then stopped right away. Like she said Iron Mouse and then stopped herself and moved on, because she knew if she basically gave him shit for following Mousy, she would have gotten fucking dogpiled. So she started to say something about Mousy, but immediately stopped before she didn't get any further than saying Mousy's name, and then she stopped. And then continued on. I mean, yes, the implication was there, but she didn't say anything beyond Mousy's name.
on Iron Mouse. And I felt like I needed to tuck this in here as an ultimate L, because not only are you not focusing on your lawsuit, Denims, as you should be, you are picking on a poor girl with immune deficiency. This poor girl
And the most
is
fucking
engaged
popular
in a
VTuber
massive
on
lawsuit,
Twitch.
or rather legal struggle. We don't know whether she's suing it or not. She had hundreds of thousands, if not millions, stolen from her by a corporation that committed charity fraud and completely abused.
Mike? No, she wouldn't. That's the thing. If Denims like talked badly about Mousy, Mousy would not know grass. She wouldn't do that. Mousy would just go, okay, fuck her, and then move on. It's Mousy's community that Denims should be terrified of. Mousy herself would not do anything. She would just kind of like go, oh, okay, fuck that bitch, and would just move on. But the people that love Mousy would be the ones to go, hoist the colors. So.
Its employees, a horrible thing. She's wrapped up in that. She has immune deficiency, and you decide, of all people, to come out and pick on her. Why? Well, because she feels threatened by VTubers, by these 2D avatars. She cannot handle it. She feels like people are going to go over there and spend their money on them instead of on her OnlyFans. And
Which
that
they
was
should.
possibly the most sad and pathetic thing.
No,
and it was doubly.
I don't like. I've never quote unquote net Mousy. I know plenty about her. I know, you know, how she's a trained operatic singer. I know that she's an absolute sweetheart, that she's just a fun-loving girl. She raises all kinds of money for the Immune Deficiency Fund. I know about what happened with the shoujo with her. Like, you know, I know about her, but I've never spoken to her.
Sad, because once again, you're picking on people that, once again, like Iron
No,
Mouse,
they wouldn't.
who
One
cannot
guy.
be more, there cannot be a
No, they
more
wouldn't. Hold up. I should address this. One guy. No, they wouldn't. My community would not nuke her. You know why? Because I have a very strict rule. We do not brigade anyone. I have a very firm rule on that. I don't want my community, I don't want my strays brigading anyone, because we are better than that. So no, my community would not nuke her, because I won't allow it. Because any strays that I do catch brigading someone else will be gone. Because that I will not allow. Because we're better than that.
Possibly the most sad and pathetic thing. And it was doubly sad because, once again, you're picking on people that, once again, like Iron Mouse, who could not be more, there could not be a more sympathetic person out there, period. Right? Period. And then she goes on to pick on Kirsha, Pippa, etc., a bunch of people. But I did really, and I want to leave you guys with this today, find out the real reason why Denims is so salty and so against VTubers. And that's, of course, because they put out better foot content than her. That's really it. That's really it. She was very mad. She was very mad at Riri.
Hang on.
Because the...
Hang on. I'll throw mine into the mix too. Here we go. Better foot content. Better foot
It's just
content.
unparalleled. I mean, you really can't match that there. So that's why Denims is salty. She's losing the lawsuit. She's losing her pay pigs. Guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
All right. Well, that was very educational, was it not? That was good.